beautiful Leo, welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your career and money reading for the end of June right through to the end of July 2025. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I'm using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound, okay? So let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Leo, this is your career and money reading. I'm going to get all of your cards first before I connect to an outcome. So let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Leo what they need to know right now regarding the path that they're on, their finances, their career? Can you please highlight for them what's going on financially for them at this present moment in time? And what can they see for their future? Can you please highlight? Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Leo? What do they need to know? So the first card there is manifestation. Now, of course, this is the Magician card. So this indicates that you're someone who's very gifted, very talented. You're keeping your eye on your goal, as it were. And you're not just manifesting, you know, you have a vision of what it is you aspire to achieve in your future. But this indicates focus, okay? So I feel like you're highly focused on something right now. We'll see what that is in a moment. But I feel a lot of you, it is channeling your power, your energy, your time and your focus into diligently transforming your life. So whether this is money-making ideas and focuses, or whether it is you keeping an eye on your spending, perhaps. For some of you, it could be like new ideas coming to light at this time. I'm actually being given an energy as well for some of you, paperwork. So it could be that you're keeping an eye on statements or perhaps some sort of paperwork, contracts that need to be looked over, signed or documented or filed in some way. So there could even be legalities that some of you are focused on in the next coming weeks and months there. It could be a structure of something that perhaps you're trying to set up at the moment, whether it is a financial structure, whether it is some sort of legality there as well, especially if you are someone who is creative, because I can see that you are. It can be that you're deciding to run your own business, for example, or if not, it can be that you know, you're being creative in the working environment that you're in right now, and you're having lots of new ideas and trying to put them into practice. I would say make sure that you document or copyright any of those ideas if it's applicable to your situation. I definitely see some good luck coming on in here, or some sort of change, okay? Something that you have been manifesting or wishing for, because the star has shown up there for you. But I do mention copywriting your work, or if you work for a company, maybe stating an intention or offering up an idea that is documented via email, or some sort of like proof that it was your idea, because I do see an energy here of someone trying to take responsibility or account for your idea. Like it's like they take the credit. So just watch out for that. That's coming through there. Now we do have a 9 of Swords. Okay, this is in your protagonist energy. So a lot of you could be a little bit worried about something, some problem solving going on this month. I will be tapping in deeply when I touch the cards, but I have to have those cards pop out first before I can connect to them. We do have that 8 of Cups. there, okay? It is in a resistance position, so some of you are not quite walking away from something just yet, but it could be something that's on your mind right now. Definitely a lot on your to-do list. Mentally, you're very drained, exhausted is what I see there. How'd you like to receive? Thank you so much. We have the Ace of Swords, which is your breakthrough. We have a Page of Wands energy there. So you're committed to your path, your sense of purpose. There is some news coming on in here that will require your attention over the next coming weeks and months, but I feel it turns in your favor, whatever this is. It aligns you with an opportunity. We've got Seven of Cups there, which is some choices that need to be made. We also have the Sun. Okay, so the path, there may be some restructure or some change going on because we do have that Wheel of Fortune energy, but it benefits you long term. Now, I want you to be aware, if you are someone who has come to this reading and you're currently out of work, whether you were made redundant or had to walk away from a very toxic situation, the energy I can see with that Nine of Swords can indicate that a lot of you are a little bit worried about the job market or the way the economy is going. Of course, it's very volatile at this moment in time. But I do see here the Eight of Cups, that you may return because in its position, it means returning to something, okay? Now, this can be that you're returning to an industry that you worked in before or into a job sector that you really enjoy, because the Seven of Cups indicates that you see clearly that there was enjoyment or happiness in a position. So I feel some of you, there could also be like a second interview for something. Something comes back around, okay? And the Ace of Swords there indicates a breakthrough opportunity. It can indicate that this requires your intelligence. It is something that is specifically honed to your skills, as it were. And aces tend to mean, you know, a sudden kind of opportunity that you will grab with both hands. So I feel like you will have options. It comes at a time where there are options made available to you because this card will go into the upright there. That's the nature of this spread. And the Sun card indicates that it will be a path or a door or a portal opening up towards flourishing in your industry and moving towards more abundance, okay? So I feel it's a lucky break for a lot of you if you've been waiting for an opportunity. So if you're currently out of a job or you're currently looking for some sort of I would say for some of you, you may be looking for a temporary opportunity, almost like a stepping stone, but it could be that you're going to be offered something that requires a probation period where you'll have to work for a certain set of hours and you get a certain set of money. But as soon as you sign a contract, because I see a lot of you signing a contract here, I feel this is when you lock down a little bit more money or you staircase financially and you really settle into the role, okay? So I'm going to leave that there with a lot of love and respect there. I'm moving on to the majority energy here. We have the Magician energy. Now, for some of you, because the Nine of Swords is present, there is this energy of some of you, not all of you, but some of you may have witnessed something that you're a little bit worried about, or perhaps you have heard something on the grapevine that has been playing on your mind. This could be to do with, you know, your industry, for example, especially with the Nine of Swords. That can be a very challenging card, something that's constantly on your mind. And it can be that you are super focused on your role because perhaps in the industry that we can notice right now, there's a lot of downsizing, there's a lot of you know, redundancies and closures and things like that. So it could be something that's at the back of your mind that's worrying you about the future, because as you can see there, that Magician energy is a visionary. But the Page of Wands indicates that you are someone who is bold and daring. You go above and beyond. You bring your A game. You're always willing to learn new skills. You know, this is the protagonist energy. So this is how you're approaching the month ahead, okay? So it can be that you have a lot of potential to make waves in your industry. There's a lot of success here. There's an opportunity to step into the spotlight, be recognized for something here, or be offered like a prime opportunity, whether it's I feel a lot of you, it's like new. So it could be a new project. It could be a new idea given by the universe for you to explore at this time, because this is a very explorative card. So what I'm seeing here is some of you also may be thinking about going in a different direction, striking out differently somehow. For some of you, that could manifest in running your own business. It could be a startup, for example, something that's creative. You know, whenever I say business, it doesn't mean something corporate. It can be that, you know, you're very talented, very artistic, because you have a lot of artistic cards here, and it can indicate that you're doing something that is different, that requires your focus. And a lot of you, you know, I hate to give this message, but because something does require your focus this month, it feels like you don't want to have any distractions. But with the Nine of Swords energy there, this could indicate there could be some minor disruptions at first, okay? Things like noise pollution or perhaps other people kind of needing your time or your attention, and it could present as some sort of like distraction. You know, this person is like, oh, I can't catch a break, you know. They're really trying to get clear on something in their head. I mean, normally it means like something from your past haunts you, or, you know, something challenging is on your mind. It can also indicate some of you have had some trouble sleeping recently, especially if, you know, you are someone who is very sensitive to the moon energies right now. There's a lot of powerful transitions going on, and the moon energy was amplifying it. I know I certainly have not been able to sleep for the last couple of days, which is really challenging indeed. But a lot of you could have been, you know, almost like running on empty because you're not getting the best sleep possible, but at the same time, you have to remain focused on something. You're still bringing your A game. So I feel with this Magician energy that, you know, this month it's telling you to be flexible, work with your energy, but also there's a lot of achievement here. This is about you utilizing your skills and your resources and stepping into your personal power, to believe in yourself, you know. Sometimes we can have doubts about our path, our career prospects, the money that we're making for our future, because this can be a very visionary kind of card. So some of you may even be thinking about like your 401ks, you know, pension pots, and the things that you're investing in right now and how they will long term, you know, bring security or impact your life. If you've come to this reading and you're just here about the finances right now and you're like, just tell me about the finances, you know, maybe you're retired, you're not in a career right now, you may be someone who is currently searching for new opportunities. The Nine of Swords indicates that there is something that is playing on your mind in some way, but I do see with that Ace of Swords, there's some sort of change going on, and we have a Wheel of Fortune energy, and it means it's positive. So there could be some news that shifts regarding your pensions or 401ks. I mean, the market economically is very challenging at this moment in time, especially I mentioned those dates from the 15th of June right up to the 19th of June there. We could also see a little bit of volatile energy around about the 29th. These could affect like markets, you know, or you know, we definitely have some challenging energy that's connected to the economy in July and August. I hate to bring that message, but I got to be honest with the energy that's out there at the moment and how it's shifting things. But, you know, with every dip, there is a rise. So I definitely see here, if you feel personally you're going through some sort of dip, there's going to be a rise. So I feel that, you know, you end up feeling pretty positive about some of the shifts. It feels like things are looking up. Okay, so of course, the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician card tells you to be flexible, okay, or acknowledge that things change. That's the nature and cycle of life. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. So I feel the Magician card is about standing in your power, believing in yourself, and keeping an eye on things, being vigilant, okay? So I see a lot of you just keeping focus on your finances right now. And of course, the Nine of Swords, this is your protagonist energy. It's not something that perhaps is in your outcome energy. So I don't see anything to worry about. I feel if you are worried about something, there is the nature of change here, where you're setting these changes in motion, and they will be for the better, okay? That's why I'm picking up for some of you may actually connect to some of you if you're retired. You may have thought about doing something creative, maybe even utilizing your voice or, you know, the power of the spoken word, or like pen to paper, or, you know, typing a memoir or writing a book, a novel, for example, or doing something creative that really is exciting for you. And it's a byproduct of you expressing yourself in some way. And it could be something that you put on the internet, for example, to be sold, because we have an ace there, but also it's an Ace of Swords, which is connected to the ether. So it can be that you may be learning new skills at this time on how to work certain like technological apps or websites and things like that to benefit you, okay? And that can be across the board. Some of you could be writing something as a byproduct of whatever it is that you do, a manual of how to do what you do, or maybe you're just writing a novel, or you're doing something creative and, you know, you're worried about revealing it because it comes from you. And I would say if you're creative and you're putting your work up there to sell, whether it's on a creative platform or whether it's on your own website, you know, there is this energy here of you caring so much about what you do. Of course, there's a lot of cups energy here, and of course wands, you're very passionate about something. But with this Ace of Swords, I feel like you need to be a little bit more clear on how you price your products, because there is an energy here of some of you needing to have a little bit more confidence in your skill set and, you know, apply a certain charge that is a little bit higher than what you're actually asking for, is what I'm seeing there. Of course, you can change it, you can adjust it, but I would say go high, okay? Not that you're like overpricing, but sometimes, you know, it's about valuing your work and knowing that actually it is something that is beautiful and people require it, they want it. So I feel a lot of you, if you're selling items online at this moment in time, it can be that, you know, you're adjusting prices at this time, okay? So I would say don't sell yourself short, okay? So moving on, we have the Nine of Swords, as I mentioned there. This is a lot on your to-do list. A lot of you may be feeling, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much to do, so little time, no support, and you're exhausted mentally, okay? And I feel like you're working extra in some way, or perhaps in your mind, you're having so many ideas. This is like a little call to lock onto one idea that really excites you and run with that. Sometimes we have to acknowledge that we'll have loads of ideas, and to do them all, we'll see this flurry of activity that sees you completely exhausted and depleted. Bank some of those ideas for later, lock onto the most important one or prioritize one at this time. There's one that's been given to you that you're so excited about, and this is the one you run with, and this is going to be your lucky break, the one that's calling to you. All else can be discovered later or investigated later, but I feel this is a call to lock onto that one idea or that one creative pursuit that excites you, and it's going to be very successful indeed. Now, if you are someone who's creative, this is a real month to be working in the shadows almost on something off grid, and then it will come to light. When you reveal something, suddenly it takes off. You could go viral if you're someone who's online. It could be, you know, you launching something that's in the public eye because you have so many light cards here. You know, even if you do not work in the public eye, this can be that you're recognized for something, or, you know, there's some good news regarding your career sector. There's a warmth energy, there's blossoming, there's flourishing in your career after a long time of feeling really tested. I mean, some of you may literally take a test in the next coming weeks and months there, because the star energy is in the resistance position. So it's at first, it does go into the upright at the end of the spread. So it tells me that a lot of you are working at capacity and you have felt a little tested. And if you're not actually like learning new skills or new information regarding flourishing in your career so you can expand your opportunities and your paycheck, you know, I feel that you know, a lot of you, it will be a testing, bumpy time in the next coming weeks, but things smooth out a little bit. And if you are taking a test, I see that, you know, you are a top scorer. You're someone who's going to pass with flying colors there, okay? Now, the Page of Wands is a card of being diligent and loyal to your career sector. Of course, this is about enthusiasm. It's about you kind of like recognizing that things are challenging right now, but saying, I'm not going to let it defeat me. You're the sort of person who wants to have a little bit more independence in your working environment. But this is a card where there is a potential catalyst for change, a vehicle. So whether it is a creative inspiration, a new idea, or a new adventurous project that you're launching or locking onto. I mean, if you work for a company, it could be new documents come your way and you're asked to figurehead a project or have a little bit more responsibility on something, or there could be some sort of restructure going on and that requires like new tools or new skills, as it were. And it could be that you're in training over the next coming weeks and months, or perhaps there's business tools coming in, like new technology, new software, new hardware. And at first, yeah, when you're trying to get to grips with new technology or anything new or new system, you know, this can cause a little bit of a headache. And it feels like a gear shift. It feels like you're getting stuck in one gear because it's hard, and at the same time you still have to do the work that you always do. So it can be that there is an unnecessary kind of bump in the road because you're learning new skills, but you're going to take to it really easily, and actually it's going to become really clear for you because there is this muddiness here when you have a Seven of Cups in the resistance position, this can indicate that something isn't clear, okay? And for some of you, it can be that maybe personally, you're going through something and you have a lot on your mind and you're just trying to launch yourself into work, and you may have a bit of brain fog because you're so exhausted, for example, or if your hormones are fluctuating at this time, there could be a little bit of a brain fog there, but it's momentarily going to affect you. It's not something that's there for the long term. So it could see you like investigate something. Because you have so many water cards, I would say hydration is the key, especially if you're working in like some sort of office environment or a place where there is like high kind of like air conditioning, that sort of thing. But we have that Page of Wands, which means that, you are inspired, you've got an idea, you're passionate about what you do, and pages bring news. So I do see here that there could be some news in the next coming days or a week at least where you're really excited to explore it further, is what I'm seeing there. Now we have that star energy, something that has been hidden comes to light. So for some of you, this could be an error or headache because the Nine of Swords is there. I didn't give it to you, it popped out unfortunately, but it can be that you correct something because, the Ace of Swords tells me that a problem-solving period is corrected, or, you have a way to break through it in some way. And a lot of you, because there is this page energy, if you're working in an environment where there is a new person being hired temporarily for something, this person could make a monumental error. If you're someone who's been on a vacation recently, or you're taking a vacation and someone is actually stepping into your role to do what you do while you're away, you may be training this person, and that's why you're trying to do your job and train them at the same time, because I'm being given this energy of test. This person is going to make a monumental error while you're away. I hate to say that, okay? And it's like when you come back, you save the day, okay, with this energy. And a lot of you may see this as a headache and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I can't go away. I can't do these things. But actually it highlights to management and everybody else, especially if you work in a company where, you have managers, it highlights that you're the best at your job and no one can do what you do in the way that you do it because you bring your A game. Your attention to detail is so precise, okay? So with this star energy, you manage to heal the situation, or you manage to rectify it, okay? Now, if you work for yourself, if you're an independent worker, it could be that you've been outsourcing something, whether it's to an accountant or whether it is to, an online service, because you have some swords here. It could be that there is some sort of error that occurs, but you problem solve and you correct it, okay? So I feel everything works out for the best in the end. But the star energy, it can indicate that there is a brighter future for you to look forward to regarding your career sector. If you're looking for a promotion, I would say there is talk about some sort of new role or some sort of new department for some of you if you work in a company, and it's not quite finalized yet. The Eight of Cups, some of you may be thinking about leaving a role, but because it's in the resistance position at first, some of you may be putting this off until you get some news of a new role. You will get that. So if you're putting a resume out there trying to find new opportunities, because the Page of Wands can be you looking at what you have to offer, an industry, how passionate you are. And it can be that you're thinking about starting a new position that you're excited about, but in a sector that you're returning to, as it were. And this is where you really come to the fore. So you could be biding your time, waiting for that opportunity to be finalized, or to get that opportunity before you leave a role that you're in right now, which of course is very clever for you, but it will literally change your life. You're going to be so happy in the new environment as well there. Now with the star energy, if you work for yourself, it can indicate there's been a bit of a lull going on in the industry that will correct itself in some way. The star energy in the resistance position at first, it can indicate that, there's an energy of you doing the same old thing, just a different day, not that there's no room for inspiration. It just can be that you've had to lock into some sort of habit or repetitive cycle to just do what you do. And it's hard to keep inspired. One of the hardest things is, motivation, to keep doing the same thing that you do every day and trying to approach it in a different way in order to keep yourself invigorated or excited and locked on to your career path. But I see a lot of you exploring new avenues and really kind of launching yourself into a passion project. I mean, some of you, it could be that you're working in some industry and you're doing something as a sideline, and there's a real breakthrough in that, and this is where you like come to your fore. This is a card, when it goes in the upright, the star energy is to be recognized, it's to be in the spotlight. It is a card of success there. So it can be that a success from your past comes in. For some of you, this could be a royalty, could be a rebate, tax rebate there. For some of you, this could also be an opportunity that you applied for a long time ago. Now, this is something else that's coming through, which is really random, okay? But I have to give it to you because it's coming through. For some of you, you may have applied for some sort of like competitive thing in your industry. I'm not sure what that would be. Like, I'm just going to give you an example. So if you are someone who is an artist, it could be that you applied for a competition to showcase your skills, Artist of the Year awards or something like that, for example, and it really showcases your work. I feel like you could get involved in something like that. It can be any industry. It could be like catering, could be construction, could be entrepreneurship. I feel like you're being really noticed as someone who's making waves in the industry, and they want to have you part of it because they want your work to be seen. Okay, and a lot of you, if you're working hard in silence on something, I definitely see here that the next coming weeks is where you start to reveal your project or start to launch it or get it out there. Some of you could publish a book or publish something during the next coming weeks there or months. And I feel it's a real breakthrough and it's received really well, okay? Now, the Eight of Cups is in the resistance position at first. So this can indicate, you know, that you're trying not to be emotional about something. You know, you're being logical because that Ace of Swords is there. So if you're deciding to, like, go into a new role or approach something that has been challenging, it's like you don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction to something, because water can be you all up in your feelings, okay? And because the Eight of Cups is to walk away from something, this could be that you're contemplating right now a new direction or something new, a new project or a new way of working, and you just want to make sure logistically it serves your higher purpose rather than just saying, you know what, I'm fed up here, I just need to leave, okay? But sometimes that knee-jerk reaction, if it's your true reaction, that's your body saying that you're no longer happy in the role that you're in. So I see a lot of you structuring something or making plans, as it were, in order to walk away from something that isn't fulfilling anymore, because that's literally what this Eight of Cups means. But a lot of you, this could be new knowledge, a desire to restart. You know, it could be that you are contemplating walking away and learning new things, venturing out. Some of you, because you're so established at what you do and so gifted and talented, it could be that you're taking your talent and your skill set and also client list, if you work with clients or customers, it could be that you're striking out on your own. You're being your own boss at this time. And it could be logistically that you are trying to make your way towards this, and, you know, it's just something's on your mind and you're trying to get everything structured, and it can be a hard slog. It's a long road, you know, and it feels daunting, especially if you're doing something new, and you're going to be very successful at it, whatever it is, because it's going to be different for everyone. Now, for some of you, it could also be that you've just started a new role. Okay, and you're wondering how it's going. Nine of Swords, it could be really hard to deal with new people, new ways of working. It's challenging. I know that every time I ever started a new role in any job that I did, the first 3 months I was like, every day, I'm leaving. I can't do this. I don't, you know, I'm not learning the stuff. I just don't get it. Or these people are horrible. Or this is just not what I want, you know. But eventually when I got to grips and things became second nature and you feel suddenly in the flow of things, everything starts to shape up and start, you know, connecting, as it were. And suddenly I felt a little bit more comfortable. It was my fight or flight energy of thinking, oh my gosh, this is new and daunting, and I should be better than this. I should be learning this quicker, but it's a new environment. So give yourself time is what I'm seeing there for some of you. Okay. Now, with the Seven of Cups, it's in the resistance position at first, which actually is very positive. It can indicate a clarity, okay, or it can indicate this desire for, you know, more structure in some way, because the Seven of Cups, it can indicate you have a lot on your to-do list. And I feel like you're being asked this month to be really flexible, because there could be a bit of a plot twist there. The energy supports it for the collective in general, not just you, my beautiful Leo, but also I feel there is a breakthrough. And sometimes things get a little bit clunky before a gear shift and a breakthrough. So if you feel like you've had a lot on your plate recently, Seven of Cups, there's some options coming on in, and it again is all about your focus, okay? Magician card is all about focus and you having all the skills you need within yourself. It doesn't hurt to add some new strings to your bow or to learn new knowledge to keep you abreast of the competition. But the Seven of Cups, for some of you, it could be that you are launching different products. Perhaps you are exploring something new. If you are someone who has a clothing line, for example, it could be that you're launching a new item of clothes. And now you have, a couple of items on your website that are very niche. And it can be that you're making additions to your stock, as it were. And, this is going to really gain a lot of attention to your website or to your clothing line. And then suddenly people want to look at the other stuff that you've got going on. Perhaps people haven't been noticing as much as usual, but it can be that it's partnering with the season and also this new launch. A lot of you, there is this launch energy happening here. So it could also be that you have more energy and inspiration this month to launch yourself at your career goals, and you just get a lot more done than, you have been doing for some time. I mean, I feel like you've been working really hard. Nine of Swords tells me that mentally you're exhausted, there's a lot to do right now, and you feel very challenged. And you may feel that there's no support. Some of you may actually, with that Page of Wands, get support. There may be a support worker coming in to help in some way, but they could, as I said, make an error where I feel it's more that they're not as established as you, is what I'm seeing, and that's where the error comes from. But your outcome energy, no matter what you do, the Wheel of Fortune indicates a sudden opportunity out of the blue, something really lucky is happening for you. This is a change of fortune. So with that Nine of Swords, a lot of you could be worried about losses in the job market or, clearing down your workload. But there's a breakthrough here, which indicates that suddenly you win the day on something. Fate and destiny also intervene, because that's what the Ace of Swords means, that you have new ideas, you're clear, any problems, you solve them, you're on to the next projects, you clear down your to-do list. You're going from a Nine of Swords to an Ace of Swords. You got one sword left. So it's like you've completed everything. You've completed the tasks, flurry of activity, and a lot of you could be super busy because you're trying to get everything done before a vacation, for example. But, there could be some changes in your industry that will benefit you, some breakthroughs, some contracts. I mean, for some of you, there is this energy of someone important, if you work for a company, someone important walking away. Okay, and it opens up opportunities for roles to be filled in different ways. So this could be a new department being set up in some way. And if you are someone who runs a company, for example, and you have people working with you or for you, there is this energy of someone giving in their notice, and it could be like too quick, as it were. They may leave before their contracted date for some of you, and it could leave you in the lurch, as it were. But you save the day and you find someone to fill that role, and I feel this person, it's like they're sacrificing their pay. It feels like they're leaving quite quickly. So some of you may have to deal with that, but you will deal with that. And I feel like actually you hire someone who has more skills and is really on top of things. So I feel that's really positive there. The Wheel of Fortune basically indicates you're turning things around, and the universe supports your endeavors, and that things are going to go from strength to strength. And of course, some of you may be thinking about relocating your business. It could be that you're looking at the economy in your country right now, if you are an artist or you are someone who is creative, or, whatever industry you work in. If you have set up a loan business, it can be that you're looking at opportunities overseas, because we do have a map there. You may feel that perhaps it's more lucky overseas for some of you, not all of you, of course, but it could feel like a bit of a headache to think about the logistics of it or the legalities of it. But I do see you kind of like keeping your eyes peeled for new information. And there could be someone new who comes into your life who can help you make those changes and help you see things clearer to see if they actually would be more beneficial if you were to move overseas there, or whether it is, just a pipe dream, for example. A lot of you, it's not a pipe dream. There's this energy of you actually doing it. And the sun energy indicates you're going to be truly happy indeed. Okay, now of course, coming back to that Ace of Swords, this is about making a decision, the sword of truth. This is about taking responsibility and accountability for your working environment, but also for your finances. So I see here that your finances, of course, are fluctuating. You know, you didn't get any pentacles. Doesn't mean that you're not thinking about your finances. This could be a card that indicates you're being stricter with yourself when it comes to fleeting funds. Okay, so it could be that you're putting in some sort of structure in order to make sure that your money goes a long way, as it were. I will pull a card on this. The Ace of Swords is basically, you know, you being clear about what you need to do, being dynamic, this spark of inspiration, springing into energy, as it were. And it also indicates a very positive phone call, letter, or correspondence coming your way as well that really helps you seeing things really clearly. And I'm just going to go and get a card to clarify this Ace of Swords for you. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Great Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Leo what they need to know at this time? Can you please show the way? We got 4 of Wands. Okay, I'm only taking the upright in the decks, just so you're aware. 4 of Wands is celebration. It is good news. It means you celebrate a win or a milestone in something, okay? But it's also a reunion energy. So some of you, as I said earlier, you may actually return to an industry that you really loved working in, or perhaps there's an opportunity that comes back around, maybe in a different form, but you'll celebrate it, whatever it is. But the 4 of Wands can also be preparation to celebrate, or preparation to, you know, move into some new sector in some way. And I feel some of you could be thinking about creative collaborations, and that doesn't have to be with another person. It could be a partnership with a social media platform. Could be a brand deal, could be something really influential to your career, or perhaps you reunite with a person from your past who has found themselves working in a very similar industry that you are in or want to get into, and it could be that there is some sort of communication that informs you about the next steps on your path, and you're really excited about that. Now, I was being given this energy by my guides of earning power, okay? It feels like you're increasing your earning power at this time, and the 4 of Wands, it is all about achievement. It's about moving as well. So it could be changing a job, or it can be, you know, you celebrating some sort of move. And this can be a relocation. So it could be that there is some sort of kind of interference, noise pollution there, or some sort of refurbishment energy going on, which creates a little bit of chaos with that 9 of Swords. But ultimately, when the whole business kind of moves or restructures in some way, you know, there'll be a lot of peace, there'll be a lot of celebration. You know, I feel a lot of you, there could also be a networking event that comes in the next coming weeks, or something that you see online that you're like, oh, I'd like to go to that. It could be a job fair, it could be an exposition, it could be, you know, something that helps you build in your career in some way. But also some of you could have a conversation with a person about setting up together, because this can be bringing people together to share resources, or, you know, having harmony in the industry that you're in. For some of you, you may actually hear that your company is merging, and there may be new contracts there. Just be mindful, if that's you, to you know, go through the fine print of your contracts to make sure that you get all the benefits that you had before. Because any kind of like move there or merge can indicate there's new information in contracts, and it could nullify what went before. But the Sun energy, it indicates a really positive time where you really come to your fore. You know, the Sun card is a Leo card, so I see a lot of you being a leader or being your own boss. And if that's not something you are already, I definitely see you working towards this, and I feel it's going to be very successful indeed. But, you know, the Sun card indicates that you're nourishing something right now that is really going to grow into something exponential. You know, you could actually diversify whatever it is you do already, and it could go global or overseas, or it's seen by a lot of people in some way. But I feel like the path is being made clear. And as you can see, this figure is walking this lonely, isolated path. Now, this can be that you just need to have focus on something and no distractions, and the path seems really long, right? But as you can see, this path, as an outcome energy, you're closer to the Sun now than ever before. So it can indicate that you're closer to a goal or a breakthrough than ever before. And things are about to get really positive. And it's going to be out of the blue. It's going to happen so quickly, okay? So I'm just going to get some final cards. Ace of Swords, some of you could be documenting your skill sets to write a book. As I mentioned before, it could be like a manual of how to do something, or you're training someone, or perhaps you're documenting things for your future if you're deciding to launch a career by yourself there. Also, I would say get any information in writing. Okay, there's someone here who's very changeable in their energy, so there could be the potential for miscommunication is what I see there. So get it in writing. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Leo? What do they need to know? Can you please guide them for their highest good? Can you please show them at this time what they need to be aware of for their career and money situation? Independent, going your own way. I mean, sometimes I'm like, where's this reading going? I'm trusting my guides, the energy, the cards that are popping out, what the cards mean, and what I see in the water, and the words that my guides want me to use there. And I'm like, where's this headed? And it may actually really focus on one kind of major energy, which this reading really did, which is about being independent, about either going in a different direction or starting something new, or being curious about something, an idea that you've had that leads you off on your own path there. And it is a doorway. I mean, you literally have potential. Your first card, I said you have so much potential, and this is a card even in a different deck that says potential there, okay? And this is kind of like an energy of seizing the moment, because that's what dragonflies do. They seize the moment, they find their mate, they find the opportunity, and then they just, you know, be really beautiful in that dance, that flexibility, that kind of like rhythm. And I feel a lot of you, it's like finding your rhythm after a period of restructure or some sort of worry there. It says trying out your wings, budding talent, restlessness, air travel, upward progress. Okay, so very talented, as I mentioned earlier. This could be you launching something new or some aspect. You could be trying out, you know, trialing something for some of you there, but it has so much potential. And also, because there's two dragonflies there as well, I would say that some of you will partner up with either a social media platform or a brand, or someone is going to see what you do and want to partner up with you, like a publishing deal or a manager or, you know, an agent or something. I feel there is some sort of connection there. Now we have rituals, and it says bringing in prosperity, movement, objects of power, affirmations, and making it rain. Okay, so this is all about routine, things that you ritually do in order to be the best at what you are, but also it can indicate, you know, that structure is going to work really well for you, but the power of your mind, especially with that Ace of Swords there, the power of the mind is so important. Thoughts really do become things, so it can indicate that your thoughts have power. And if you have been worrying about something, of course we all worry from time to time. If anyone ever told you that they never worry, you know, I would question that myself personally. It's human nature to worry about things. Nine of Swords is worry, anxiety, sometimes despair. Okay, and I'm sending you a huge hug out there, so much love, especially if you feel like you're at capacity right now and you feel like you're doing this all by yourself. You're self-made, okay? And I feel like there's always a bit of chaos before the breakthrough moment, and you're about to have this major breakthrough, okay? So trust the process. Easier said than done, I totally know that. But if there's something you're worried about and you can change it, you're problem solving in the next couple of weeks and months there, and you're going to bring your A game and you're going to have that breakthrough and you solve the problem. But if there's something you're worried about that hasn't happened yet, and you know there's nothing you can do about it, I would say this is about channeling your energy, because these pyramids are about a foundation, grounding. Okay, ground your energy. We all worry about things from time to time, but if you ground your energy, breathe, and recognize that what is meant for you will never pass you by. Opportunities will always come back around. There were many times in my life where I was like, oh my gosh, I missed the opportunity, and I kicked myself or all of those things. But if I'd taken some of those opportunities, you know, I wouldn't have what I have now, which is just incredible, you know. I just have a little bit more independence in my life, and you know, I do other things, of course. I love doing this for you all, but you know, variety is the spice of life, and of course we must explore our options. So if I'd taken some of those opportunities long term, that I know people who did take those opportunities, they're not so happy. And you know, I was kind of like tapping into my intuition and saying, am I going to be happy here? You know, yeah, it's loads of money and it's great, and I'm really grateful for the money. And I was in a career many, many years ago that paid so well, you know, but they were just so rude, and they just literally robbed joy from every single being in that company within a couple of weeks, okay? But people were afraid to leave because, you know, it was security. And I thought there was no life outside of that. because I thought I'd hit the jackpot in that job, when actually it was breaking me down. It was making me feel exhausted. I was unwell all the time. It was just such a low workers' morale environment. And I ignored the signs to leave, but the universe was like, oh, send you a tower, you're off. And there is where life really started. And I realized the power of possibility outside those circumstances. So if some of you are going through that right now, I can see on the other side, and I am someone who witnessed it, experienced it, and it happened for me. On the other side is everything that you ever dreamed of sometimes. Don't get locked into fear about something, but make the logical steps in order to put yourself in that position to make that change. Okay, so I'm sending you a huge hug out there. But we also have independent, okay? So this cat, you know, you're a cat, my beautiful Leo, so this can indicate that you're tapping into a little bit more independence in your working environment, especially if you feel someone micromanages you, for example. I feel this could be, you know, a really honest, open conversation, but also a breakthrough moment where you do something that saves a day and actually puts them in their place. They may be the person who's making the mistake, and it highlights that actually you're the one who's more capable than them. And I feel like they may kind of like leave you alone after that, okay? But it says here, go your own way, unique path, self-starter. Your own business, freelance, and bossing up, okay? So I did pick up on a lot of people thinking about second streams of income, you know, freelance, temporary work. Could be a stepping stone also towards something a little bit more long-term. But I feel a lot of you, you know, this creative streak of yours is being explored at this time, and it's going to be so successful. And finally, we have that doorway, that portal to opportunity. Okay, and it says here, open to possibilities, potential, job opening up, steps, walking away from something, risking something, shifting focus. So a lot of you, it could be shifting focus away from worrying about something. Sometimes, you know, people have to realize that we are vibrations of energy. Everything we give out, it emanates into the universe. And, you know, the more we think about something being negative, we can actually draw it towards us as like a self-prophesizing kind of connection. So I always try my best as well. Again, we're all human. We always think of the worst case scenario, but actually I've tried to mindset shift, and I feel a lot of you are doing this mindset reshift of focus where you're trying to focus on the positive rather than the negative of a possible outcome there, and you're going to see the positive unfold in your life, okay? So I definitely see here not just a shift of focus, but also an opportunity that comes your way where you may want to explore it further and maybe walk away from something that you're involved in right now, or it complements what you do already, okay? So I'm just going to go and get a trinket or ring before we close. Okay, we got one there. Ooh, okay, so we have the dinosaur. So this could be you walking away from outdated practices, or perhaps someone from, you know, the company that's been in the company for such a long time, the hierarchical system. It can be that it's archaic, the way they ran the company. Perhaps you've got new ideas. You're someone who's very inspired, especially in the next coming weeks and months there. You're someone who's passionate. It can be that, as I said, someone is walking away from a role, someone significant, and it opens up an opportunity for the company or a structure to work in a different way. I feel this is about you kind of like acknowledging that new technology or new ways of working can benefit and make your life easier as well. So if you think about the dinosaur energy, this can be that, you know, you're putting old practices to bed, or something's run its course and you want new. All of your cards are pointing to new. So even if you're like doing what you do day to day, it could be that you're buying new tools or new software and you're saying goodbye to an old laptop or something that has just run its course, it's outdated, or, you know, it's, well, some of you, it could be something extinct. Like, for example, if you need a part for something, it could be that, oh, they don't do that anymore. It's, you know, obsolete. It doesn't be sold anymore, for example. And it could be like, oh, and then you find something new to replace a product, whatever it is, and suddenly it works better than before, and you wish you'd actually bought this new product before, for example. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope something resonates for you, my beautiful Leo. Thank you so much, and love and light.